I watched my husband collapse into a chair in a packed Texas courtroom when the judge read the bank records he thought I would never find. My name is Emily Carter, and for 12 years, I believed I had a solid marriage. We lived in Plano, Texas, in a quiet suburban neighborhood with trimmed lawns and polite neighbors who waved every morning. I worked as a senior loan analyst at a mid-sized financial firm. My husband, Daniel, ran a property investment business that looked impressive on paper, multiple LLCs, rental homes, steady cash flow. Or so I thought. We didn't live flashy. No mansions. No luxury cars. Just a comfortable life I worked hard for. I trusted him completely. He handled our investments. I handled the bills, groceries, life. Emotionally, I was exhausted but loyal. I thought marriages went through seasons. I thought silence was normal. I was wrong. The first crack came with a bank alert. A withdrawal. $18,400. Not from his business account. From my personal savings. I confronted him gently. He smiled gently. Said it was a temporary transfer. 2 weeks later, another withdrawal. Then another. When I checked deeper, my stomach dropped. My retirement account. Touched. My emergency fund. Nearly gone. I asked him again. This time his voice changed. You don't trust your own husband? That sentence broke something inside me. Then came the affair. Not rumors. Not suspicion. A public moment. I walked into a restaurant in downtown Dallas, one we used to go to on anniversaries, and saw him laughing with a woman half my age. Her hand was on his thigh. His phone was face down. People stared when I froze. Someone whispered. I left without saying a word. That night, I cried on the bathroom floor until my throat burned. I almost gave up. Almost convinced myself it was my fault. But then the days after I found the files were the darkest of my life. I stopped sleeping. My body moved on autopilot, work, shower, bed, but my mind stayed trapped in those numbers. Every dollar he stole felt like a memory erased. Vacations we planned. A house we wanted to upgrade. The safety I believed I had. One night, around 2 a.m., I sat on the kitchen floor with my laptop open, scrolling through transaction logs, and I just broke. I cried so hard my chest hurt. I whispered out loud, "How did I miss this?" Over and over again. I felt stupid, small, replaceable. I almost closed the laptop and told myself none of it mattered. That was the moment I almost gave up. But then I saw something that stopped me cold. A transfer dated 3 years earlier, right after my mother died. I remember that week, clearly. I was barely functioning. Daniel had handled everything. The funeral payments, the paperwork, the accounts. That transfer wasn't just theft. It was betrayal layered on grief. That night, my sadness turned into something sharper, calmer, dangerous. I started rebuilding the timeline from the very beginning of our marriage. I printed documents, highlighted patterns. His fraud wasn't sloppy, it was arrogant. He never imagined I'd look this closely. Weeks passed. I played the role he expected. Quiet, distracted, still married. He grew bolder. He bought the woman from Dallas a car. With my credit. When I confronted him lightly, asked why my credit score dipped, he laughed. Actually laughed. Said I was being paranoid. That laugh sealed his fate. I met with the attorney again and slid a new folder across the table. This one's worse, I said. She nodded slowly. This isn't just divorce anymore. The court date was scheduled. Daniel had no idea. On the morning of the hearing, he kissed my cheek and told me not to stress. I watched him walk out the door, knowing it was the last lie I'd ever swallow. Inside the courtroom, when the judge began reviewing the evidence, I studied Daniel's face. At first bored, then confused, then tight with panic. When the forensic accountant explained how he moved funds using my identity, Daniel finally looked at me. Not angry, afraid. The judge asked him to stand. His voice shook when he spoke. The confidence he built for years collapsed in minutes. That moment, him exposed, stripped of control, felt unreal. Not joyful. Not cruel. Just balanced. After the ruling, outside the courthouse, reporters asked questions. He avoided every camera. I walked past them silently, my head high. That night, alone in my apartment, I made tea and sat by the window. No music. No phone. Just silence. For the first time in years, the silence didn't hurt. I realized revenge doesn't always look like screaming or destruction. Sometimes it looks like letting the truth speak so loudly that lies can't survive it. I didn't win because I was ruthless. I won because I was patient. And I will never confuse love with blindness again. If you want, next I can. I found the files. Daniel underestimated me because he forgot one thing. I analyze money for a living. I pulled statements, tracked shell accounts, cross-referenced LLC filings. Late nights, no sleep, cold coffee, silent rage. He wasn't just stealing from me. He was committing fraud, using my credit to secure loans, moving money through properties I co-signed without knowing, funding his affair, planning to leave me bankrupt. I didn't scream. I documented. I consulted a lawyer quietly, then a forensic accountant. They smiled when they saw my folders. "He's finished," one of them said. I waited. The confrontation didn't happen at home. It happened in court. Daniel walked in confident, smiling, whispering to his lawyer. Then the evidence appeared on the screen. Every transfer, every forged signature, every false filing. His face drained of color. The woman from the restaurant sat behind him. She stood up and walked out when the judge mentioned her name. Cameras flashed outside. That moment, Daniel hunched, sweating, exposed. That was the thumbnail moment. He lost everything. The properties, the accounts, his reputation. I kept my dignity. The judge ruled in my favor. Full restitution. Legal fees covered. His accounts frozen. When it was over, I sat alone in my car and cried. Not from pain but relief. I learned this. Silence protects liars. Documentation destroys them. I didn't raise my voice. I raised evidence. And that changed everything.
Before you go, I just want to say thank you for spending your time with this story and being part of this journey. If this video moved you, taught you something, or made you feel less alone, please like the video and share it with someone who might need to hear it today. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Revenge Uncut. We're working hard to reach our first 1,000 subscribers, and your support truly means everything to us. Every single subscription helps this channel grow and allows us to keep bringing you real, emotional, and powerful stories like this one. Most importantly, leave a comment below. Tell us what you felt, what stood out to you, or what this story meant to you. We genuinely read every single comment, and your words inspire us more than you know. Thank you for being here, thank you for your support, and thank you for being part of the Revenge Uncut family.